Welcome to another episode of Tree Talk, and today's tree which I have chosen is anti-cancer Dashmul tree, famous in Ayurveda under the name Shyonak or Shyonak. In Hindi, it has many names. The tree is known as Manduk as its long leaves have the stalks which look like limbs of frog. It's also known as Kuttannat, Shuran, Puti Briksh, Bhoot Briksh, as it has very soft branches and during night time it looks like ghost. It is also known in Hindi as a Dhirg Brint, Vatuk. Another name is Tentoli, Shallak, also known as Arlu, also known as Sonpatha, because its leaves have a little yellowish coppery hue, especially during winter. It is now also known as Marmarai. Its other name is Shon or Patrorn, Totala, Tuntuk, Shuknas, Katbhang, Mayurjhang, even simulated with the legs of peafowl, Puti Nara, Prithu Shimba. Its pod-like capsule gets separated and releases the winged seeds. So Prithu Shimba, also known as Bhumi Putra, as this is the highly revered tree, medicinal tree. The tree in Dogri is called as Munyan or Mrinjan, also known as a Muleen. Few localities it is also known by the name Tatmorang, especially in Kathua. In Punjab it is also known as Tatmorang or Muleen. In some areas even local people call it as Krishna Kishti because its capsules are boat-like, nav-like, also known as Talwari Rukh because its long 1 meter long capsules, they look like curved swords, so also known as Talwari Rukh. It has various names in Indian languages. Almost all Indian languages have name for this peculiar tree, which in botany is identified as Oroxylum indicum. Oro means mountains, xylem means wood. So this tree mostly is found in hills, just a raised ground. But it is also found in Assam and there it is known under the name Ding Dinga or Dingari or Toguna. In Bengali language it is known by the name Sona or Nasona. In Kannada language it is known as Tatuna or Patagani or Bunepale. Tegadu is another name. In Malayalam also it is known by the local name as Belupatari or Belupathari. Even another name Palak Payani. In Odisha it is known as Phonphonia or Fapni. In Marathi language we call it as Taitu or Tetu. In Gujarati Taint. In Tamil language it is known as Plai Udachi or Kori Konai or Pairal Lankei. In Telugu language Oroxylum indicum is known as Pampena or Tundilamu or Sukha Nasamu, or also by another name Manduk Parnamu, again reflecting association or simulation with frog limbs. This is the tree whose seeds are winged, white and borne in layers inside the capsule, which is rather largest in the plants we see around. the longest fruit, pod like, but it is basically a capsule, and its seeds are decorative. Not only decorative, they are religiously very sacred and used in religious ceremonies by Buddhists. So in Tibet we see often its garlands, seed garlands, they are put in prayer places, and they are also used for decoration as auspicious to ward away, to keep away the evil spirits. So this brings the positive energy in the houses. So even in Garhwal and in Tibet we often see its seed garlands. They have the rich folklore and they are associated with the local people's healing way of life. The tree now known as Oroxylum indicum, but previously it was also known as Bignonia tuberculata. Why tuberculata? Because its leaf stalks have the tubercles, raised protuberances. So it was earlier known as Bignonia tuberculata. It was also known as Bignonia tripinnata because mostly the leaves are tripinnate. They 3 times divided. But it is also was named previously as quadripinnata. Sometimes even 4 times divided. Leaves are also seen on the tree. Another name was Arthrophyllum because it has 1.5 meter long, huge large leaves, and that is one leaf basically is made up of leaflets. So one compound, it's a compound leaf. One leaf is basically divided into pinnae and then second order and third order, and sometimes even 4 order divided leaf. So it was previously named as Arthrophyllum selanicum because it is also found in Ceylon, Sri Lanka. It was also known as Bignonia lugubrious, and another name was also Calocenthes. Another name which is now synonym was Hippoxylon. So its wood is the not very strong. It is basically hollow, but it has the yellow color, and because of the yellow color it is also known as the Sonpatha. It was also once named as Spathodia indica. We have the Spathodia africana in Jammu as introduced tree, but this is native to India. Oroxylum indicum is the Indian tree. Its leaves and pods are mostly developed into cuisines with fish. Its flowers are also fried and eaten, especially in Manipur, even in Thailand and Laos. Its pods as well as flowers, they have the rich nutrition and they are useful for health to boost the body immunity. This particular tree has many Ayurvedic uses. It is used as dashmul tree. It is one of the root which is used in dashmul. It's especially the root bark, and this is useful in the treatment of arthritis. Bark decoction is recommended against arthritis, even against the irregular periods, that menstruation cycle, and if it has some kind of post-delivery recommendation also, it is given to the ladies after delivery so that it keeps the reproductive organs infection free. It is also used in the Parvartani Vati, and it's very useful against jaundice, even hepatitis B. As per folklore, its bark, Oroxylum indicum, along with the Buhi Amla, that is Phyllanthus, and Itisit, Punanaba, Burhabia coccinea, it is recommended against jaundice. Its wood is a hollow type, but that is used as a utensil, as a glass tumbler, and the water is usually taken by the hill people in the morning as a protection against liver infection, and it is also recommended against malaria. So it has the rich tradition among the local communities, hill communities in India along the Himalayas, from western India, from Jammu up to northeast Assam. We usually see It's a tree sporadic. They are not in large numbers. Only occasional trees are seen in the forests. So this is not very common tree, and according to International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, this is now treated as a threatened species. Even Foundation for Revitalization Local Health Traditions, FRLHT Bangalore, while carrying out the camp workshops, has labeled it as the vulnerable tree, which is declining in the population. In Kerala, it has almost wiped out, and it is considered in the red data list. This particular tree, its pods become copper colored during winter time, and at that time its seeds are released. They are winged and they get scattered, and even the soil where it grows, it has the very obligate association with Ascomycetes fungus. Without the availability of Ascomycetes fungus called Pseudonocardia oroxylii, the tree fails to grow. So whenever we have to go for its plantation, we need to get soil also from its native natural habitat, so that Pseudonocardia oroxylii is able to form the mycorrhizal association with the roots of Oroxylum indicum. And this particular tree has very many English names, many popular names. This is also known as the broken bones tree. Why broken bones tree? Because the Oroxylum indicum, having 1.5 meter long, huge, large leaves, rather the largest leaves in the plant kingdom. Its stalks after winter gets they broken up, and they fall down under the tree in the form of a heap of bones, because each piece of that leaf stalk looks like the human bone. It may be a femur, maybe a humerus, so they look like a cluster of bones. So it was named as the broken bones tree. But as per the doctrine of signatures, this also reflects the utility for the strengthening of the bones. So it was included in the Chavanprash for the health of the bones. It is also useful against the broken bones. So that was the doctrine of signatures, how we got this inference while using the tree in Ayurveda. This tree is also known as buffalo horn tree, because its capsules, they are very large and huge, and especially during winter time we can see those capsules which are even 1 meter long. They hang down from the stem. They are not upward oriented, but rather they are downward pendant, drooping. And as per scientists, it is presumed that this is for facilitating the visit of pollinating bats, which come during night time, and it should not become a hindrance to their access to the flowers for pollen and nectar during night hours. So it's a long, huge sword-like pods. They hang down. They are not upward. And this also during night time, many people used to fear some dacoit has come with swords. So it was also known as the midnight horror tree. Because the capsules are sword-like, it is also known as sword of Damocles. Another name given to this is Indian Trumpet Tree, because its flowers are trumpet shaped, tutti like. So each flower is born in a raceme. Its calyx is campanulate and persistent. Even in the pod capsule we see this accompanied calyx, and corolla is also 5-lobed. It is fleshy. Outer side it is purplish red, whereas from inside it looks pale yellow. The lobes are crispy, wrinkled, and it has 5 stamens. Another allied plant, Patala, after which we have the name of the Pataliputra, that is Stereospermum suaveolens or Stereospermum personatum, but there we find 4 stamens. In case of Oroxylum indicum, 5 stamens are seen. And we have the bicarpellate ovary, pistil. Flowers, they develop into the long capsules, and inside we have the winged seeds. This tree is also having the name as the Indian Trumpet Tree or the Buffalo Horn Tree, even this Sword of Damocles. This particular tree has also been reported to be even visited by the rhinos. Even rhinos eat its flowers in northeast, especially in Assam. Oroxylum indicum has the great potential as an anti-cancer plant. The latest research has shown it is even anti-cancer, and one study carried out in Manipur. It was the patient who was in the advanced stage of cancer, and he was recommended the bark decoction for a month or so, and then he could prolong the health. It cured a little bit. So under the name Shag Bang, it was used in Manipur. So it has reported some kind of anti-cancer properties, and it's many phytochemicals, oroxylene or orozynidine, even it's cytosterol and some other phytochemicals which help in fighting the health cancer also, and they are also useful against the duodenal and intestinal mucosal membrane health. So they are very this particular Shyonak or Arlu, Turlu is useful even against gastric troubles, diarrhea, dysentery, even useful for piles, hemorrhoids. This is useful against infection of the reproductive parts, and its use is well known to the locals, and it has also the decorative value. So the Oroxylum indicum trees, because of its curious looking very long fruits, it is also introduced in parks and gardens. So even in Jammu University we see its a few trees, they are preserved in the vicinity of Dogri department and Punjabi and Urdu department in University of Jammu. So we can have a look on the tree, which is revered in Ayurveda, Siddha, Indian system of medicine, and is also labeled as anti-cancerous tree and named variously: broken bones tree, Indian trumpet tree, midnight horror tree, and sword of Damocles, and having many Sanskrit names: Arlu, Shyonak, Bhuti Pushpa. Even another name in Sanskrit exists for this is Muni Drum. In Hindi we have another name as Tantya, something even related to Tantya Tope. His had a dress used to have a very long conical shaped backward oriented that cap extension. So maybe Tantya Tope name also came from the word Tantya. Tantya is another name, Hindi name for the tree, Oroxylum indicum, and it has almost the names in all Indian languages. More than 30 different kinds of names exist for the tree, and this particular tree is mostly pollinated by bats, that is Chirotyrophili, and after the bats visit these flowers, the corolla falls down, and during daytime honeybees are simply they coming and visiting the corolla-less flowers, but no pollination is affected by the honeybees. And it is usually seen that flowering time in case of Oroxylum indicum tree is 9 p.m. in the night time. So that synchrony is also very unique to the tree, that it can be called as a 9 flower tree. Mostly 9 o'clock in the evening it will start blooming, and it will, and there seems the various flowers, they go on flowering for 2-3 months and in a succession. So almost all the time you will see the flowers, even the buds and the tender fruits on the same tree. But this tree, the wood is very soft, and many people also call it as a Ullu Vriksh. So because of very soft and very large sized leaves, which has the entire leaflets, and the flowers are trumpet like, and it has very useful medicinal properties, and the tree is also edible in Northeast and Southeast Asia. So it is a food plant, so it is a medicinal plant, it's a decorative plant, it is the anti-cancerous plant, and this is the plant which even supports the population of bats, as it is a tree which is visited by bats. So even it supports the wildlife. The tree is native to India, and it need to be introduced in our herbal gardens and even in the floriculture parks and other locations, so that we are able to conserve this declining tree species, which already has entered in the red category, and it is considered as the threatened tree of India.